At WrestleMania 37, Alexa Bliss shocked the wrestling world by turning on the Fiend, helping Randy Orton pick up the victory with her distraction. The two had been together throughout the build to the match, with most fans presuming that they would be sticking together long-term. However, now that they've broken up, and have actually begun feuding with each other, what can fans expect from the two wrestlers? Intergender feuds are hard to see in WWE, especially between supernatural characters, but with extra abilities, major storytelling elements, and plenty of charisma, what things that WWE should do with this story, and what should be avoided. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification for more wrestling content. Number 10. Want to see cinematic moments? WWE has slowed down with the cinematic moments lately, but if any storyline is going to bring them back before fans return, it will be this one. The company could easily use cinematic elements to push the story in the coming weeks, perhaps having a Firefly Funhouse match, or Alexa's Playground match. The Funhouse match was basically a look back at John Cena's career, looking at things he could have done better. Doing this with Alexa, or having Alexa do it to Bray in an Alexa's Playground match could be a cool segment on an upcoming PPV. What do you think? Which match you want to see? Alexa's Playground match or Firefly Funhouse match? Sound off in comments below. Number 9. Don't want to see. Destroy the Funhouse. Alexa Bliss has been teasing the power of her doll, Lilly, and pushing the fact that it is scarier than the Fiend. It's obvious that at some stage, this doll is going to do something crazy, but it is important to not have that be at the expense of the Firefly Funhouse. Destroying the Funhouse has already been done before, and it didn't mean much then either. It would feel like a cheap throwaway to simply do that again, which wouldn't help Alexa in this role. Number 8. Want to see dominant Fiend returns. When the Fiend first burst onto the scene, he was unlike anything that had been seen before. He was genuinely scary, and that's because he was booked as a dominant monster who was afraid of nothing and couldn't be put down. However, during the Randy Orton feud, that all changed, with one RKO beating him at WrestleMania being a sign of that. This storyline could be a way of lighting a fire under the character, bringing the true monster back again. Number 7. Don't want for it to drag on. The big issue with the Fiend in this supernatural world has been that storylines for him have lasted too long. The Randy Orton rivalry dragged on and came to a poor conclusion because it had been built up too much, for too long. WWE has an even harder task having fans buy into this one with two supernatural characters, as not everybody is into it. Because of that, WWE would be best cracking on with this storyline as fast as possible and then moving both of them onto something new. Number 6. Want to see Nikki Cross return. When the partnership between the Fiend and Alexa Bliss first started, it was actually Nikki Cross who was at the heart of things. Bliss and Cross were partners, and that ended with the two of them never even having a blow-off match. Since then, Cross has struggled for television time, which is a huge waste of potential. It would be good to see Nikki back in the mix, either pulling Alexa out of the situation or ending up as Alexa's first victim to show her darker side. Number 5. Don't want. The Fiend gets a new partner. Something that WWE should avoid doing is replacing Alexa Bliss in the sidekick role for the Fiend. While they had great chemistry and had some fun moments, it's the right time to let the Fiend thrive on his own once again. He started off scary and dominant all on his own, and the character proved to be successful, so there's no reason why that can't happen again here. Number 4. Want to see Alexa Bliss returns to normal. Alexa Bliss has done an amazing job in this supernatural character, however, she is a lot more entertaining as herself. Alexa Bliss is great as an arrogant heel, which is when she's done her best work, with her present character actually limiting her in a lot of ways. Whether it's by teaming with Nikki again, or the Fiend making her snap out of it, Alexa Bliss should return to her normal self at the end of this. It would be a huge boost to the women's division as well, which really is needed right now. Number 3. Don't want. Put them back together. Of course, an easy way out of this situation for WWE would be to simply put them back together. Whether that's the Fiend destroying Lilly, and taking control, or Alexa herself actually making the Fiend follow her around. However, that would be a mistake. It feels like WWE did everything that could be done with them as a unit, and now is a sensible time to pull them apart and finish the alliance for good. Number 2. Want to see intergender match. As soon as WWE began with this storyline, it became pretty clear what the company needs to do, and that's let them have a match. Intergender wrestling isn't for everyone, but when done right, it can be entertaining. With Alexa Bliss and The Fiend being two great characters, it would be a great way to wrap up their lengthy storyline. It would be a rare moment to see some intergender wrestling, and it would help wrap things up in style. Number 1. Don't want no death moments. With the supernatural elements of both characters, WWE has the opportunity to really push things to the extreme. While that's all well and good, there is only so far the company can go before fans lose interest. For Randy Orton's feud with Bray Wyatt, that was when he burnt the Fiend alive. Fans began to lose interest at that stage, and it's important WWE doesn't go that far again, simply for the sake of shock value.
Boom!
Came back unapologetically me.
Charlotte Flair has returned once more to Monday Night Raw, and following the events of the latest episode, we have learned that she is no longer suspended, thanks to Sonya Deville, and can continue appearing on the show and staking her claims. The Queen has embraced herself as the biggest name on the roster, and feels she is far more decorated than anyone else, and doesn't need to prove herself any further. Cutting a powerful promo on the Raw after Mania, Flair made it clear that she wasn't looking for title opportunities, and that she was the opportunity. Appearing on the latest edition of WWE's The Bump, Charlotte Flair made a bold statement on fans criticizing her over her demands, given that she doesn't have a belt around her waist anymore, and hasn't had one for a while. I think that's kind of the idea of being the opportunity. Everyone says, oh, she takes everyone's opportunity. So, you spin it and you put some truth into it. Well, yeah, because I am the opportunity. Charlotte sees herself as the one to beat, the final boss of every battle, and has learned through her series of accolades that she is the most established superstar in the women's division. I don't want to diminish what the championships mean, and I don't want to say bigger, but I don't need to hold a championship to be the champion, Flair explained. Charlotte is inarguably the most decorated superstar in WWE's women's division, having held the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, the Women's Tag Team Championship, the NXT Women's Champion, and the WWE Divas Championship. Given the fact that the Divas Championship no longer exists, no one will ever be able to match her record, and she remains at the top of the pecking order in that regard. She is the big money fight. Rhea Ripley has not managed to overcome this challenge, and will soon get to face Charlotte Flair yet again as the latter inevitably challenges for the Raw Women's Championship. The opportunity will meet the brutality and settle the score once and for all.
Oh, let me up with a bright smile on now.